And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for the third game of the day. It is going to be Yale versus Harvard, the game we've all been waiting for. It's going to be so hype as we get into this. I'm It's Lemons again, joined by the Rebel Fox. This will be our last game of the day for our casting, at least. We're going to take a little break, go to the TSM VP of Operations with an AMA, and then we'll come back with a new set of casters, which is going to be Visions and Switch afterwards. But with that being said, we are going to be getting into draft here pretty quickly, as just in a few moments we'll be switching over the screen to let you see this great draft that we've got set up for you so far.
Already looks like one of the teams has missed a band also, so
great start.
A little bit on the back foot for that one, but
might just be so confident that they don't need to ban. Although we did see the Lucian banned out for the side of Yale.
That we did. The interesting theory behind this is that if you ban out champions, then you lower the amount of pools of champions that you also effectively have to choose from, which, like, yes and no, that's not a bad thing. I think it was the last team I saw do it was can't remember what their name was. It was a challenger team, but they did it back in the day. And it's been a while since I've seen that strategy come through here, but see if it comes to full fruition from Harvard.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see. These bands.
Oh, there it is.
Interesting. I like it. It is going to be the Leona band here for the side of Yale for the second band. Udyr is the band for Harvard. Maybe they've been seeing some of those crazy Korean Udyr builds that we've been kind of hearing about recently. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, Phase Rush and the AP. I think you were telling me about that yesterday, being able to play. It's also in the wheelhouse of Keosa, or Keoisa. I don't know how to say that name, unfortunately. Sorry for any Yale fans that know his name professionally. I don't know how to pronounce that perfectly, so bear with me on this one. But he does play the Udyr, and they must be at least a little bit afraid of it. He also has Leeson and Graves in his back pocket, too. So without that first ban having come through, we're just waiting.
Yeah, for sure. And that last ban of the first phase is going to be Forgot. That's going to be another interesting pick to be taken off the board. Has seen a little bit more prominence here recently.
And it has. Gets a little bit more popular, especially with a lot of the sustaining that's come through. Varus is not shocking. Muffin Toppers plays a lot of Varus, so I was surprised it actually didn't get banned out. I expected it to be the first ban overall, surprisingly, but since they missed that one for themselves, didn't get a chance to ban anything away. So the Varus can be grabbed immediately.
Yeah, so a bit of a change going into this. We've seen Ezreal, very prominent so far today, but it's going to be the Varus locked in. A little bit of change in the ADC position. Renekton going to be the first pickup for Harvard, and such a strong pick that is.
That is. Right now, it's dominating both solo lanes and the ability to just smash pretty much any lane matchup. Not to mention, with things like Death's Dance with Black Cleaver, with Blade of the Rune King, your late game damage and your sustain, your tankiness in fights, all up there. Wow, they come through with Trundle too. This front line is huge from Harvard.
Yeah, another game where we see a Trundle picked early. That's so interesting to me because you typically see Trundle as more of like a counter pick to a tanky squad, but they think that the pillar is that important that you need to grab it, especially pairing it with the Renekton, as you said, just a super strong front line. And what is the answer to a very strong melee front line? It could be Roots coming from the Zyra, and the Lux apparently come with the bindings. They don't care. They don't want you to move.
That's true. What we saw last game against the set, we're going to see a lot of in this one with the Renekton and the Trundle having to run up to auto attack to do damage versus the Zyra, the Varus ultimate, the Lux binding. Like, yeah, so much lockdown for this squad. It's going to be tough to get in there. So you have to think they need some sort of very hard engage or some sort of nice TP flank to come in here to make sure that they can get onto this team with their champions. They go with the Rise, strong champion, not bad into either Zyra or Lux. I assume it's going to be Zyra in that support role with Lux in the mid lane, but certainly not too bad of an option here.
Yeah, exactly that. And the Rise being a very strong late game champion, able to use the Realm Warp to help his team get around the map as well. And that is one thing you do not want coming to your doorstep is a Realm Warp with a Renekton and a Trundle waiting for you in it.
No, it is not. Those are very strong champions early on to deal with. They ban out the Graves to make sure Gaio-Isa does not get his hands on that one in this one.
I'm so sad because I'm actually a pretty big Graves player, and I like to play. It's so much fun in the jungle because nobody really understands like how much damage you do, and obviously Yale don't even want to deal with it.
No, they do not. I like the Graves.
I'm sorry, Harvard.
Yeah, Harvard. Yeah, the Graves with the phase rush right now is insanely strong.
Yeah.
I think it's like a really good jungler. It's not super strong early if you don't have the setup for it, but with the Lux and with the Zyra already, not too bad. Yeah, they're really taking this jungle pool away. No Graves, no Lee Sin, no Udyr for the side of Kai'Sa. I'm curious whether or not he's willing to flex something like the Zyra into the jungle and go something nutty like that. It's a long shot by far.
It
But
is. It's
Zyra
been the thing,
was. It has been a thing in the past. We haven't seen it really in competitive all that much, but if he's got it in his back pocket, it would be a nice game to bring it out. Trundle does not do well into AP junglers, and certainly not one with a root to slow him down.
Yeah, exactly. And you could be looking at that counterplay there. It is going to be the Yasuo locked in here for Harvard. I mean, I guess the pillar is the knockup. You're looking for the 4-man knockup with the pillar. You get the 4-man last breath. We'll have to see how that goes. As Yasuo is looking like it's going to be the ADC here for Harvard.
They're just like asking for like a Malphite, I guess, here because they can get the Renekton and the Trundle and everything in on top of them. But right now, I mean, with a Zyra ultimate down, how do you actually approach this team? Like, there's no way to do it. You have to win the laning phase so hard and then never team fight on that side.
Oh, goodness.
Comes through. Oh, my goodness. Are we going to get a Teemo?
I mean, it could be. We still are waiting for the top laner, so I mean, it could be a complete
it might
possibility.
actually be decent into Renekton.
It could be.
The blind prevents the W. Blade of the Rune King, not usable. Doesn't stack a bunch of health. It could come through.
Oh my goodness, we're getting
a Teemo!
And gentlemen, we have a Teemo on the Rift. This is gonna be a great one.
I am so excited. I've never gotten the chance to cast a Teemo before. This is gonna be a first for me.
Never happened. Ever. So, question is now, when do they finish up the comp? They have to find some synergy for this Yasuo somewhere, and it looks like it could be the Nami.
Okay.
There's another pick that we haven't seen as much of lately, but can be extremely strong.
I can get behind the Nami. The bubble sets up Yasuo for the bottom lane pretty well. The ultimate's a good setup to get everybody in to throw. You got a lot of people that move towards their enemies instead of using abilities to do it. So, like, you've got running at them from Trundle, Renekton, Yasuo. And the ultimate is a good way to stall them as well as speed up your team at the same time. So, it's not that bad of a pick. Now, I want to bring us back to the Teemo grab. Because actually, I'll theory grab Teemo as we get into the game. That's a little bit more important. I'll wait for his keystone, wait to see all these things. But I think there's a good way to play this Teemo matchup early on into the play. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But again, this is a hard composition to play from Harvard. They have a very, very low range. Ryze is the only range champion outside of Nami, the only range damage dealer they've got. And he has to play into some of the best zoning I've ever seen. You've got Jarvan's Cataclysm combined with the Varus ultimate, Lux's bindings, you've got Zyra root, you've got Zyra ultimate, and you've got Teemo shrooms now to deal with. That is going to be next to impossible to navigate.
It really is. I'm honestly looking to the objective control. Honestly, though, I mean, you do have some pretty strong members for the side of Harvard as well. Just maybe not a fully synergistic composition, but still strong pieces nonetheless. And I really believe that this early game is going to dictate a lot of what we see, especially around the objectives, as I was highlighting, and seeing how Kai'Sa wants to affect them as well, because he's going to have to deal with this Trundle from Corrupted Sage.
That he will. The Trundle's a powerful champion and really good enough to duel against the Jarvan early on into the game, so you can give him that regard. The problem is again, his lanes, they have to be ganked in order to get them ahead, and you have to win fights before you go to neutral objectives, because this team's just too hard to approach. If you let the side of Yale get onto an objective like the Dragon or the Baron, set up around the pit with all the tools that they've got, you can't approach. There's no way to do it. You have to be the first one to every objective, which means you need to push wards forward. You have to do everything right to make sure that Harvard can get into the pit to start with, and then you can turn and fight afterwards if they overextend, because otherwise, if you're running into the death trap that is this team, you're never going to find that. So either fight to start, then take the objective, or you get to the objective first and make them fight into you.
Yeah, and we're going to have to see how that all turns out. Now, we did have an update on the standings here, at least for this game. Yale are 1-0, Harvard 0-1, having lost to Princeton. Going to see if Harvard can pick up a win here, or if Yale still go undefeated at the start of this tournament. We'll be right back after the spectator delay. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are on to the with Yale versus Harvard. Yale on the blue side. You have Mango Stalker in the top lane, Kaoisa in the jungle, Suffix in the mid lane, Muffin Topper and Kuga Terunori in the bot lane.
Yes, and on the red side, you have Heartbreaker in the top lane, Corrupted Sage in the jungle, Agreement in the mid lane, Macho Nia in the ADC role, and Fermata in that support role.
Got to see a 5-man stack here. Early light binding as well as the roots. That's going to be Mechanix going down. First blood given over to Muffin Topper.
Ouch. Yeah, I don't know where Agreement was, but you got to be in that mid lane far enough up, because if you're in the mid lane as soon as you can be from the base, you spot that out very instantly. That's why you go to a 5-point in the positions that you do, to make sure that nothing like that can come through. Instead, it's very hard to see them. You have to be very far up in that brush to be able to spot somebody coming through from the river. So nice little gank pathing there coming through from the side of Yale. Get that first blood for the Varus.
Yeah, extremely strong start starting out for Yale. Looking to get their second win of the tournament. Now, I did want to take a second to highlight. We had a huge donation come through. Columbia donated $5,000 to the stream and to the fundraiser. So thank you so much to them for contributing to this. And we're going to continue going. We're only in game 3 of the day. We're going all the way till 10 tonight. So make sure you stay tuned in as we see the buffs being started by the respective companies.
Super appreciative of the donation. That was the entire goal, if I recall, for the tournament being donated by Columbia in one go. So could not be more grateful for that one.
Seriously, though, it's absolute insanity. And love to see the giving coming through during these times of need. Now, the giving has started in this game as well, as Muffin Topper getting to start with an extra 400 gold in his pocket. Did go back and buy the long sword, so has a little bit more strength in the lane. Looking to focus up on Fermata there, as the root is going to land at max range. The Arcane Comet coming down right after.
Yeah, I am terrified of the triple comet that we're seeing come through here. Kaoisa might get caught out here.
Oh no, he's going to be in some trouble. Luckily, he has the flag and drag. The root's going to land on Fermata. Muffin Topper going in for the damage. Here goes the Q. The flash from Fermata has to get out of there.
That it does. So first things first, the Renekton's third Q instead of W during the laning phase, which makes it difficult to try to chain CC that the Jarvan when he goes in for that invade. You flash immediately. Oh, it's the Teemo.
Yeah, Teemo getting focused early on here. Corrupted Sage getting blocked by the minions a bit there. Now it's the chase ensuing.
There's no pillar.
Gonna be able to get out. That's so rough.
No pillar. Use the immediate stun to come through to try to set up the initial engagement, but it's just not there. Unfortunately, the Trundle doesn't have anything to follow that up with, and Mango Stalker, no Summoner's Burn, just walks out of that one. Oh.
Yeah. Here comes the flag and drag, not going to connect onto Agreement, as he's going to be able to get a little bit more trading down there in the mid lane.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna fanboy theorycraft this Teemo just a little bit here for 1 second. First off, I'm not the Dark Harvest is kind of indicative of a very aggressive laning phase to me, and I don't know that I agree. I think if he wants to play a poke style, which is definitely what you want to do against this Renekton, because you have the ranged matchup, you go airy, because the airy tick damage from any dot damage is nuts. And you're gonna re-gank into the top side. Now has the pillar.
Yeah, he's gonna try to get him, but the kill going over! That's gonna be Mango Stalker, the Teemo picking up a kill there! And what a turnaround! Kaoisa coming in the last second. Root's gonna land on the bot side. Fermata going down. What is this? 3-0! Yale Esports at 4 minutes into the game!
Twin wall thrown sideways, unfortunately not able to block the last auto attack coming through from Muffin Topper, so he secures that one. Nice flash from the Zyra to set up the root and get that play to come through here for the side of Yale Esports. And that top lane, again, no pillar. Where was the pillar? It ends up getting thrown behind the Teemo and only buys space in the follow-up from Jarvan. I don't think it was necessary, but Mango Stalker walks away with a kill in a 2v1 and gets put out by his jungler. You gotta love the way Yale has played this early game already, up 2,000 gold at only 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's an absolute insane start to the game here so far. Corrupted Sage tried twice to get a gank onto Mango Stalker, and both times just didn't work out for him, especially around that pillar usage that you had highlighted. And so far, it is Yale taking a very, very strong lead in this game. 2-0 on the Varus, still already has a bounty. Is a little bit down on the farm across the board, except for in the mid lane, but is not going to be too much of a big deal here, especially with this amount of lead this early on.
No, they will not. The Nami also starts with the triple fairy charm to make sure that man is not going to go down. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. It's not desperation, because you're going to use all of them eventually, but certainly ideal backing to start with, where the Nami would like some of the AP. We do
I
see
love
Trundle.
Go ahead.
What is it?
I was going to point out the double Dorans and double Dagger on the Yasuo, just trying to get as much as he can early on.
That's fair. I mean, in a laning phase like this, when you're not going to be able to win very early, you just got to get some power infused into you. What's nice also is the Serrated Dirk no longer gives much damage. They don't get that burst damage that it used to have. Now only gives lethality, which negates about 7 armor. And at this point in the game, that's not a ridiculous amount of damage you're going to be negating with that lethality. So it's not as big of a power spike as it used to be when it had the on-hit damage from before. So the Yasuo could still take a fight in the right situation. Probably requires interference from Trundle, though.
Yeah, another thing I was just kind of figuring out or looking at, I guess, is the amount of arcane comets on the side of Yale. It's crazy. I mean, the poke is there. The poke is real.
Which, like, actually is mildly shocking to me because I think Muffin Toppers would have gone much better with the...
Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
Realm's going to come out. It's not going to go off agreement. The final spark's going to miss, but it doesn't matter. That's going to be a kill. Shutdown, although, on the bot side, Corrupted Sage was able to pick up a kill down there.
They're way too far up on the bottom side, pushing into that tower, into the Yasuo. He throws up the wind wall, so there's no harass, so they can't even turn for an additional kill. Corrupted Sage and Vermata get that one for themselves. Mid lane, the Ryze tries to use the Realm Warp to get out, and the DQ comes through from Jarvan. He flashed closer to him, though, and ends up tossing him a little bit. Here's Coyote and something.
Yeah, they're going to have to try and get out here. The Light Binding's going to connect as well. A nice little emote there after he gets the... the amount of damage on there from Suffolk. Not a lot, but it was meaningful because that Lucent Singularity was available to him. But Akanik's going to be in some trouble. Flag and Drag as well. The bubble is going to come out, but Vermata has to be careful here. He's getting very low. Flash forward, Light Binding. That's going to be Muffin Topper picking up the kill.
That it will. I gotta point out that Lucent Singularity earlier was really well placed because it was in front of the wind wall far enough to where he got a triple slow there to ruin the rest of the play. And then you see as they trickle back in from those backs from the deaths coming through in the bottom lane, they're able to chase. And when you land one route, you land all the routes, which is just a terrible place to be Mango Stalker.
Hey.
Trying to bait Heartbreaker into these
Heartbreaker, though, with the big brain play there, knew exactly where that shroom was and got out. I guess the beehive was. And got out of there. Now, the bot side is going heavily in favor of Yale so far. They did give up that shutdown kill, though. You gotta be careful about giving over that gold. That's a huge crashing wave.
Yeah, and when they crash waves in the way that they have been through the majority of the game, even with the wind wall, you can harass underneath this tower so well. So the Yasuo, I think they should have continued to choke up here. The problem is the Yasuo has an experience advantage because Nami's been out of wave for a while, so that engage can come through. Nice root, though.
Yeah, good double root on there, but not going to follow here. Corrupted Sage going to be a serious... This is like the... just a nightmare here for Corrupted Sage. He tried to get ganks, wasn't able to. Tried to get his buffs, not able to. Agreement here in the mid lane is not going to hit the skill shots. Suffolk's able to do so much to him. And then on the bot side, it's just pressure all over the map here, Rebel.
They have a lot of laning pressure here. Again, with this multiple comet setup that they've got, they just have to continue poking away. Heartbreaker is not going to die. The Dark Harvest isn't available, but that poison takes him down so far. Oh, no!
Oh, no! With the standard, love it, Chaosa coming in.
Oh, my goodness. You gotta love the flag and no drag, just an immediate attack going down underneath of that tower. You gotta be feeling for Heartbreaker right now. Everybody hates playing against Teemo because of this free damage you've got. And playing also as two champions with no mobility, not a ton of direct CC, or at least that not CC that's tied to an auto attack, is rough to play against the Teemo just because of how much mobility he gets from his W, his ultimates being positioned. Not the ideal setup, so you feel for this Renekton right now.
Honestly, I feel for the whole Harvard side right now, and they are just getting wiped. But here goes the comeback. The last breath's going to connect as well, and Kuga is going to go down to the Yasuo. Akanik's finally getting on himself on the board.
That he will. That's nice. Finally, I feel like that's been a long time coming because they continue to choke up on the tower so heavily on the side of Yale, but it just doesn't matter. They've gotten such an advantage. A Yumu is already completed for this Varus, as well as a, oh my goodness, that's the armor, that's the Oblivion Orb completed as well for the Zyra, which means the damage from these two, if there is no respect, is absolutely insane.
Yeah,
now
the amount.
Yeah, go ahead.
the amount of damage that Zyra can do with just a little bit of AP is crazy. And you see it all the time in Zyras that play support, especially in solo queue. I mean, they can absolutely carry games. And so far, they're setting themselves up to do just that here on the bot side. As you said, the Yumu's already gotten and the Oblivion Orb picked up by Kuga. They're going to have so much pressure on the bot side. And you can already see that the side of Harvard want to try and focus down this way.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
Heartbreaker. You're breaking my heart, man. She's going down. Mango Stalker able to pick up another kill. Oh no, the tidal wave's gonna miss, but the bubble doesn't. Fermata able to pick up that one. Here comes the root. Here comes the plants. It's gonna be enough. Pillar right in the middle of it. Kuga gonna have to run around. So slow blast plant is gonna get him out. Oh no! The flash coming in. The flash returned. What is happening? There's craziness all over as the Rift Herald was summoned in the top lane. Gonna take the first tower, the second tower, as well as getting them some more gold. Timo is feeling real good in this game.
The lack of mobility on Varus is being punished really heavily by the Nami, which you can appreciate. Oh, watch the tornado.
That's gonna be a big one. Last breath going through. That's gonna be a kill. It's gonna be the tornado. Oh. He walks back, gets killed by the plant. That's going to be another charge going off by the Rift Herald. That's huge. That's 2 towers and almost a third taken by a single Rift Herald. As now they're going to go in. Flag and Drag's going to connect. That's all she wrote for Corrupted Sage. Cataclysm's going to go through, but not going to connect onto Agreement. And man, Corrupted Sage and Heartbreaker just having a rough time of it.
But they are getting bullied constantly by this Jarvan pick who's everywhere on the map seemingly, and he has so many strong lanes to play around. Suffix has too much range to deal with, and Agreement doesn't have the damage to actually take one-on-one duels pretty much any time during the laning phase up against this Lux. You've got the Timo who's massively ahead, not only in CS and in gold, but also just being able to constantly harass the Renekton makes an all-in very difficult for him. And Chaos knows this and has been playing to the top side quite well. And their bottom lane also finding some... Look at that damage!
Heartbreaker stuck on the other side of it. He's going to have to get out. Kuga picking up that kill. And man, there's just nothing you can do at this point. The gold lead is growing. The kill lead is growing. The tower lead is growing. And so far, Yale are showing up in this tournament, looking to bring themselves to 2-0 here in a very convincing fashion.
They were one of our favorites coming in for a reason. They have a strong roster pretty much from top to bottom on everybody in this one, and they're showing it here today, my goodness.
Oh, overextension though. Here comes the Realm Warp. Who's it bringing? Just Agreement, but they're able to kill. On the other side, it is going to be a pick of a dragon by Keusa. That is so close. That's going to be the burn. Oh, the heal coming through. Fermata able to get it. Flashes the emote, letting him know, I survived. Oh, goodness. That was so close to almost dying, though.
That it was, yeah. I think at this point, he has the 5% increased healing, so he was below 10 health at that point. I was doing just very basic calculation, just understanding. It was like 151 health. He was sitting at 160 something after. I think he was below 10 health there from that last tick of poison, which is just a miracle that that happened. Yale is choking up really heavily around towers, and his engage continues to come through and get picks every then and again, but it doesn't mean much because the gold lead has spiraled out of the control at this point. So they're allowed to make mistakes, play over aggressive, because most of the time when this gold gets spent, when these items come through, they're not going to be able to do much on the side of Heart.
Yeah, you definitely got to keep an eye out on that. 2 dragons already going over the side of Yale. It is going to be an Ocean Soul this time around, so something we haven't seen yet in these games. Keusa going to be re-engaging here, just turns it around. The gold difference is way too much. They thought they had a pick, but he's way too strong.
So I watched Keusa, and he took the red buff and he was running away, and he's like, wait a minute, why am I running away? And just turns around immediately.
I have a level lead here.
He's like, I'm 3 levels ahead with a ton of gold, and I have a team behind me. Why am I turning away from this? Just ends up turning around, use the Cataclysm to get 2 kills. This range advantage too, they just can constantly siege up on these towers, and there's so little that Harvard can do. They have to find some sort of engagement with a Nami wave. But that's about all they can do right now. It's just hope that that Nami wave tags enough people that they can set up the Yasuo to get into the fight, set up the Rise to start putting out.
Oh, goodness. Oh, man, that was like half his health.
1 Q, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing here is you've got to find a way into these fights, but you really can't. And the amount of CC coming out from the Lux, from the Zyra, here comes the tidal wave. Are they going to be... The Nami just goes down. Kuga's going to go down next, though, as the supports are traded in this fight.
The Jarvan split pushing, though, on the top side of the map. They're going to try to collapse on him, but might be too little too late. My problem is Mango Stalker could have easily been pushing the bottom wave at this point, and it would have been perfectly fine. Looks like Jarvan's going for the execute in the talent. Can he get the touchdown? Go for it! No, he gets denied.
Through all the flag and drag, he might be able to get out here. He's going to take a lot of damage from the tower, but is going to make... He still has one more tower to go. Is going to take the... Oh, no, he's going to go down. Nope. Oh my goodness, the flag and drag. He gets out. What a beast.
Oh, I give a lot of props over to Kaosa being able to get out on the Jarvan, but also give a lot of credit here to Mango Stalker because he knew where the Jarvan was going to have to end up, and he set up a little line of like not only warding, but also standing in that area to make sure that he gives the protection necessary so they can't chase the Jarvan backward, saving Private Kaosa in that situation. Oh, no.
That's going to be a kill on a Fermata. Kuga has his number this time around, and Mango Stalker back into that bot lane, trying to push up the split waves. And you see that there are moments where Harvard have a winning fight and do have a winning synergy here, but it's just coming too little and too far between because they are unable to stop these sieges. As you pointed out, the poke coming out from Yale is just way too strong.
It doesn't matter. So, like, every time they get a kill or some sort of advantage on the side of Harvard, it doesn't lead to anything. It's a kill that that happens because of an overextension from Yale, and there's nothing to come about on the back of it. They can never get an objective, never get a tower, because there's too much control from Yale right now. This domination is just going to continue to bleed into this game more and more and more, and as the more objectives come over, there's a Rift Herald going the way of Yale at the moment. You've got damage coming through as well, and when that continues to stack up, that is big. Oh, nice win wall, though.
Max range Chain of Corruption, but a little bit weird. I guess he was just trying to do it to pull them off of the engage there, as Rift Herald's going to be used in the mid lane. This is the second Rift Herald coming down. Kelly, I believe we called it, but not going to be able to get the charge onto the tower. Just kind of a little bit of a distraction there was Kelly, and not able to do what she was made for.
I thought it was Sheldon.
I don't know. We made something last night, but hey, whatever.
We need to come to a consensus. We talked about that last night, where we were like, okay, Riot, you need to give us the name of the second Rift Herald because there's too much discussion in AM League of Legends around what it should be.
Seriously, though, and did want to give another shout out. We had $1,000 nation coming through again, man. You all are surprising me so much with how much the community is contributing. Meanwhile, this is how Yale and Harvard are contributing, as they're going to have a team fight here. Mango Stalker is going to go down. They actually killed, or one kill on the back of that. But Flash coming out from Kuga, looking to follow it up. He's got so much damage, but is he able to? The bubble coming through. The arrow is not going to connect, and it's a 1-for-1.
Yeah, I'm going to be...
Actually, it's going to be a 2-for-1, because he's definitely got this. He's just saying to go down for Fermata. He is going to go down. Doesn't matter how much you dodge, you're still not going to get away from that one. These max range abilities are insane. Agreement got hit by max range light binding. Gonna get popped by the arrow. Muffin Topper and Suffix are the power duo.
It's a tough one, yeah. Dodging all these skill shots is being an issue. This is what I was going to mention just a second ago also. If there were even a single Rylai's on this Zyra right now, this game would be so much harder for Harvard because of the fact that, like, if you're slowed while also trying to dodge these skill shots, it's going to be near impossible to get yourself out of the damage. That you think if the Rylai slow was applied to that Nami, she would have been able to dodge the arrow? I'll give you the answer. It's no. Build Rylai's on Zyra with all of these plants. The game is won. There's nothing Harvard will ever be able to do again because they're going to be CC'd into oblivion.
Yeah, exactly that. And it's kind of been how the game's gone so far. Oh no, Corrupted Stage, you're in the bad spot, buddy. As Suffix is going to go on a rampage with that kill, and they're looking at the base here. Kaosa is still in transition here, trying to get to the mid lane, but they're going to go ahead and seize this tower.
Pretty easy to do with a very powerful
Oh my goodness. There's nothing you can do. There's literally nothing. They cast one ability, and you're done. You have to go back to base.
Yeah, like I said, there's no long-range engage outside of the Nami wave. They have to hit Fermata's ultimate in order to actually make anything happen, or they need to get a Rise Realm Warp into the backline for anything to come through, but it's just not happening. I'm waiting for the day that a Realm Warp comes through with multiple members on top of a Zyra ultimate, because that is the day that the team fight is going to be won very quickly.
Yeah, it's funny because we've seen very split kind of aggression here from Yale. They've just been going for it wherever they can, and they haven't really been playing as a full team, but it doesn't matter when you're this far ahead. I mean, you're over a 10K gold lead, so you can do whatever you want on Summoner's Rift.
I stand pretty easily. Oh my goodness. All right, yeah. You see, they're just taking the base slowly now. It's 20 minutes into the game. First Baron has only just spawned, and they've already broken 2 inhibitors without the help of anything else. So now you got these massive flood of minions for a bunch of melee champions without a ridiculous amount of wave clear. Ryze is really the only one who can definitely clear these minions out super fast. And so I'm guessing the Baron is going to be on the table. You've got Zyra, you've got Jarvan.
Oh, no. No, poor Heartbreaker.
Oh, he got out?
Hey. He does get out with the Dominus. Oh, my goodness. That was so close to Kuga going down.
Okay. Nothing to worry about. The Heartbreaker might be tanky enough now at this point. He built himself a Kindle Gem, has the ultimate available.
Oh, no.
Might be tanking. Oh, Mega Stalker.
If he would have taken that fight, he probably would have. Not gonna lie. They are on Dragon Soul Point, Yale that is. Dragon coming up in about 2.5 minutes. It's gonna be the Ocean Dragon Soul as we highlighted earlier, which is gonna help them press their lead even further. Now, there is still a chance for Harvard to steal the dragon away. I don't think it's very likely as they are stuck in their base, and the second they leave, they get killed by mushrooms and plants and all that, and laser beams and arrows. Like, you just can't get away from it. So what do? You just kind of turtle in your base and hope the best happens.
Yeah, I guess maybe just wait for a team fight to come to you and hope that the engagement is enough for you to take it. Like, the Yasuo might have some damage once the Infinity Edge is completed, but I don't even know if that's good. They did build very aggressively, so it's punishable on that side, but it is a Cinderhawk Jarvan to take damage. This is a very quick Baron, but I'm surprised that neither Zyra nor Teemo are on it, because they're the ones that probably do it the fastest of anybody.
Kuga doesn't care about what's going on in the actual game. He just cares about how much damage he can do in Zyra.
He's trying to 1v5 on the Zyra.
He seriously is, though. For the last, like, 5 minutes, he's just been sitting in the enemy jungle waiting for somebody to overextend. Luckily, they haven't. So that's good on Harvard, at least, knowing what's going on. But, man, Kuga does not want to give up on it.
No, they can easily walk this wave under tower, and again, this is a hard composition to counter siege against, just because of how much, like you said, shrooms, arrows, lasers, more shrooms, cataclysms, like everyth's coming down, and it's gonna be a tough one to deal with.
Oh no, light binding as well into the chains of corruption. Corrupted Sage is going to get out though. He's able to escape with his life. Meanwhile, bot side towers are going down. Baron buff still available for Yale. And they're just using their poke. They have all 3 of these poke members just waiting on the walls of the enemy team, trying to land the skill shots here. Tidal Wave's gonna come out, but on that side, the light binding lands. It doesn't matter. Same thing that's happened over and over again. Muffin Top on a killing spree. Redemption. He's gonna come down. Kaelisa is down. Mango Stalker is doing so much last breath as a last attempt, but it's not gonna matter. Double kill going over to Mango Stalker. Triple kill that is. And the towers will fall. Yale will look to win the game and look to improve their record in this tournament to 2-0, bringing Harvard to 0-2.
They came in with a relatively significant advantage in terms of ELO, and they pressed it very hard. Taking a composition this hard to play against in a siege, against so many low-range champions, is always going to be difficult, especially in a game like this. Congratulations to Yale. They're taking a 2-0 into those, there's the continuation into the bracket stage as well. Should be the end of the game here. Baron buff minions. One more attempt from Heartbreaker, but
it doesn't matter. Heartbreaker wanted to give it one more attempt and just was unable to. But what a game coming out from Yale. And honestly, lived up to the hype for Yale doing so strongly in this game, just completely dominating Harvard.
Yeah, honestly, gotta say that Kaelisa seemed to have a lot of impact in the early game, but he did no damage, so I guess you could say he was the worst team from what we see. The damage numbers in this one were ridiculous. 15,000 for Teemo, 16,000 for Zyra, 22 for Varus, 18 for the Lux. Like, in comparison, the Rise was the highest on the opposite team with 10,000. Everyone else on his team was sitting at 5,000 or below. And you're talking about numbers of 15,000 coming through from the 4th highest on this team. Like, these numbers from Yale are through the roof.
Yeah, and it definitely comes down to a lot of the poke, but just the team fights itself, the damage from the Varus is insane, but the combo of the Varus with the Lux and the Zyra was just way too much to handle, way too much poke, as you said, to have no real engage besides the tidal wave. It just did not work out for them. But we'll have to see, I guess, how the rest of the tournament goes here for Yale, because they have definitely put up a very strong performance so far.
That they have. Looking really good in their first few games. Look like the team that I expected them to come in to be. And showing, like, flexing this hard in a game that you can play Timo into another team really does show the caliber of your players.
Yeah, it really does, and gives me some very excited feelings for the rest of the tournament here. Now, we did have some huge donations. We've already passed our goal here, and we're not even we just are getting done with a third of the tournament here. So thank you again so much to the community for reaching out and contributing to us, and really just going to be a great time for the rest of the day. Now, unfortunately, the Rebel Fox and I are going to be taking off for the caster desk. It is going to be Visions and Switch who are going to be coming on next for the next 3 games. And then at the end, it is going to be Coco Dragon and XT. So make sure you stick around. They're going to have some great casts, some great games available to you, and just going to be a good time overall. Now, after this, we are going to take a small little break. When we come back, though, we're going to have